Okay, this week's movie is Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. This is the reboot of the Tom Clancy Jack Ryan film franchise that began with Hunt for Red October, continued with Clear and Present Danger, and all that followed. This time we have Chris Pine playing Jack Ryan. He's playing Jack Ryan at the beginning of his career. This is a reboot very similar to Daniel Craig's Casino Royale. In fact, it's a little bit too similar to Daniel Craig's Casino Royale. We have young Jack Ryan, who's recruited into the CIA as an analyst, straight out of, well, actually out of rehab at a military VA. He was injured in Afghanistan. And Jack Ryan, Chris Pine's Jack Ryan is good. He's decent. Chris Pine is very good playing it. He's a young, unsure, new recruit. The movie also includes what's supposed to be his first kill, very similar, as I said, to Casino Royale. The problem with that is that this is supposed to be a veteran of the war in Afghanistan. And I don't think this guy he killed would have been the first person he ever killed. Might have been the first person he killed in a long time. About 10 years have gone by after the war in Afghanistan. But still, I could see him being shaky. I could see him being having a little bit of a return to some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder, although he never seemed to have suffered from any kind of post-traumatic stress disorder. So to be honest with you, the way he handled in the film might be more accurate than I'm thinking that it should have been, but it shouldn't be his first kill. Um, for the Shadow, the villain, we have Kenneth Branagh as a generic stoic Russian businessman. Now, Kenneth Branagh, who also directed the film, Kenneth Branagh is very good in the role. He's very good. However, watching it, you can't help but think that there are actors who would have been better in the role. Say a Philip Seymour Hoffman or someone like a Donald Sutherland. It's that stoic, understated, I don't really shout a lot sort of performance. And Kenneth Branagh certainly doesn't ruin the movie or even ruin the part. But of a movie of this caliber with this pedigree of directors and actors in the movie, there are better people for the part. The mentor character, the person who recruits Jack Ryan into the CIA, Kevin Costner plays one of the new breed of military CIA people. At this point in American history, the CIA is basically the intelligence division of the U.S. Army, and that is played out in this film. Kevin Costner is really good in this part. He is a stoic person. He doesn't show a lot of emotion, and he's very professional about his job, but he is emotionally present. He is aware of the fact that these are people and not just pawns on a chessboard. It comes through in his dialogue, it comes through in his action, but he maintains his professional composure throughout, which is actually really cool in this movie. Your allies. There are a couple of agents, two in particular, a male and a female agent throughout the film, who are along for the ride with Jack Ryan. I didn't catch either of their names, and I don't even know if their names were given. However, they are significantly more competent than similar characters are in other films of this nature. Usually, the nameless agents are there for cannon fodder and possibly to die at a key moment so that you can see the hero have an emotion and shed a tear. These guys were used as more competent members of the team, which is on the plus side, but it's also a negative because if they're that important and that good, when the movie's over, I should have remembered their names, and I don't. And I don't think that's just me. I think that the movie just underplayed who they were in a manner that wasn't right. For enemies, the nameless henchman of the Russian villain and none of them stand out. Maybe the very, very first one you encounter in the movie will stand out a little bit because he's the first kill and his is the longest fight scene. However, you're not going to remember a single enemy other than the main villain when this thing is over. The villains just don't stand out other than Kenneth Branagh. The upside of the movie, it's fairly fast paced. It's very well acted, very well acted. Um, the action is okay. That leads you to the downside. The downside is that the action is only okay in a world of, the Bourne films and the Bond films at this point have got the action down to the point where we know how to do an action sequence so that it is freaking awesome. And for an action movie to have action sequences that are only okay is only okay in a movie that's sort of a B level movie. This isn't a B level movie, or at least not an attempt at one. It's an attempt at an A level movie, and it's got B level action in it, and that's not a good thing. Also, there's a little bit too much shaky cam, and we're at this point where I think only the people who are doing shaky cam movies actually like shaky cam. Everyone else in the world hates it, and we're all waiting for it to die, and it just won't. We keep stabbing it and it keeps coming back. You know, I hate shaky cam. I hate it. I hate shaky. I hate the handheld stuff. Just stop. Um, this is a movie that is very, very good, but had the potential with the exact same script and the exact same cast to be significantly better than it is. So ultimately, this is a movie that I'm gonna have to give. It's a tough one between 3 stars and 3.5 stars because I did have a good time, and but I didn't have a great one. Ooh, I decided to give half stars, but I didn't decide to give quarter stars because that's what this movie is. This is a 3.25 star movie. You know what? Simply for the fact that the movie was a good time, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. This is a 3.5 star movie. 3.5 stars. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit.